Refined, the Phantom returns to the Seattle stage.
From the moment that the orchestra begins, you're just transported into this beautiful, dark, mysterious world.
Meet the musical muse igniting smoldering passion and a love that never dies. Then, a web crawler wipes out. We take you to the annual Rite of Spring that's so Northwest. Plus, a refined festival of fries eyes a fanciful finish line.
We're gonna top the egg right in the middle there.
Look at that egg, it's like perfect. It's like an eyeball.
It is.
Do you see what I see?
What I see? Yeah.
Seattle Refined starts now.
Hi everybody, welcome to Seattle Refined. I'm Gard Swanson. You know, when it comes to theater, some names are just synonymous with musical magic. Names like Sondheim, Rodgers and Hammerstein, and of course, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
The Tony Award-winning composer is the genius behind some of Broadway's biggest hits. Evita, Cats, Jesus Christ Superstar, and then there's his most famous triumph, The Phantom of the Opera. Right now, the musical sequel to Phantom, Love Never Dies, is enjoying a short run at Seattle's Paramount Theater. We got to chat with one of the stars.
Andrew Lloyd Webber has touched so many people's souls throughout the entire world.
In Love Never Dies, Megan Pacherno has the Herculean task of taking on one of Webber's most legendary characters from Phantom, the breathtaking soprano Christine.
Here in Love Never Dies, we find Christine Daae 10 years later, so she's 28. She's a world-famous opera diva. She's traveled all around the world. People write everything for her, very successful in her career. She's married. Their marriage is strained, but part of that strain of the marriage is why they have to come to Coney Island. They need the money all of a sudden, and that's when things take a turn.
But Christine is not alone. The Phantom has followed her to New York to shadow his muse. Megan says you can't help but be overwhelmed by the majesty and music of this spectacular story.
The music is absolutely stunning, as are the sets and the costumes. From the moment that the orchestra begins, you're just transported into this beautiful, dark, mysterious world. It's a feast for the eyes to begin with. I'll never forget the first time I saw my costumes and everyone else's costumes. And the story is a very human story that's going to take you on quite the journey.
This is Love Never Dies' first ever tour of the U.S. Megan prepared for the daunting challenge by chatting with the master himself.
After I was cast, I had lunch with Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I had all these questions because I was so giddy with excitement that I could actually talk to one of our most profound composers of our time. Why did you write this way? Like, why did you choose this? Why did you do? And I was able to get all these answers from the genius himself.
The show is only in Seattle for a short time. But Megan says so far, audiences have walked away satisfied.
We get a standing ovation every single time in every city. I've never experienced such a thing. I want them to feel everything. I want them to cry, I want them to laugh, and just have their moment at the theater.
Love Never Dies, The Phantom Returns, runs through Sunday at the Paramount Theater. And mark your calendar, there's another Broadway classic swinging through Seattle next month. Les Miserables will return to the Paramount Theater June 6 for a short run. The Tony Award-winning musical includes the show-stopping numbers I Dreamed a Dream, Master of the House, and One Day More. It runs through June 17th.
Speaking of wild rides, there's an annual event every year at Stevens Pass that we've been dying to get up to, but every year we seem to miss it. But that is all about to change. Our roving refined photographer, Cy Bean, vowed come hell or high water, this would be the year he witnessed something called pond skim.
Thanks to our sponsor, Western Washington Toyota dealers, Cy loaded his gear into a spacious Toyota Tacoma and said, let's go places. Pond Skim is one of the biggest mountain parties in the state, marking the end of ski season. It's also some of the best people watching around.
Stone Cold said so.
Refined photographer Cy Bean got hooked up with the perfect ride for this Stevens Pass adventure. It's the sporty 2017 Toyota Tacoma. He says it's his dream truck with off-roading options, sleek interior, and it's just plain fun to drive. And the good times really shifted into high gear as soon as Cy arrived at Stevens Pass.
As you can see behind me, there's some skiers dressed in all sorts of crazy costumes. They're bombing down the hill, and they have to make it skid across this dugout pond that they created. Cold today or what?
It's pretty warm.
How was it going down we got some shots of you coming down the slope.
It's pretty great.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like fourth time doing it.
Fourth time doing it?
Yeah,
So you're kind of a veteran.
I guess.
But it wasn't smooth sailing for everyone.
That dude can barely get up.
Many skiers didn't come for the pond skim. They really came for the party.
Who are you today?
I'm Princess Peach.
Okay.
Yep.
Why?
So we have a whole group of nurses up here who are all different Mario Brothers characters.
That's awesome.
We all have balloons and we've been trying to pop each other's balloons all day long. Oh, Mario!
My name's Mario.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Luigi.
Are you guys in a relationship?
No.
No, he's with Peach. Ooh, where's Banana? We have a banana.
This is your first pond skim? Or?
It was.
And how'd you do? You look wet.
I got about halfway.
Okay.
I got about as far as I thought I would.
Okay.
I wasn't going to, but my kids taught me into it, and they both made it, so that's awesome.
Is there any tricks for it, or?
Well, I'm not the one to ask, clearly. I can't believe you beat me either, sweetheart. All right.
After some bruised egos and possibly some bruised bodies, that's a wrap on pond skim. Back in the Tacoma, Cy goes, getting ready for his next Toyota adventure. You can check out Cy's full pond skim gallery on our website. And if you want to learn more about the Toyota Tacoma or any model of Toyota, head to your Western Washington Toyota dealers or visit their website, buyatoyota.com.
Cheers! Happy Mother's Day!
Seattle Refined is just getting started. Pour the champagne. We're toasting Mom.
And you have loved me. You have done everything you can for me all of my life, and I know that.
Don't miss this funny and moving salute to the hardest job on earth. But first, I'm breaking every rule as we search for Seattle's funkiest fries.
Dig into the yolk there.
Oh, man. That was money. Give me some right here.
Find out where you can say aloha to this dish next.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Gard Swanson. Now, I'm going to have to vamp here for just a second. I am waiting for the signal that it's okay to tell you this next story.
That sound can only mean one thing, the final installment of a Refined Festival of Fries. All week long, I've challenged the Refined team to find the most unique fries in the city, and I'll admit, they found some gems.
But today it's my turn, and I think you'll find I saved the best for last. It's not technically a French fry, but too bad. I'm the boss, and I can do what I want.
It's called Marination, and this downtown place is sizzling, especially this hot item on the menu, Aloha Tots. All right, this is where all the magic happens. These are tater tots. This is Kamala. All of them are gone. What do we make them?
Making some Aloha Tots here. We started with the tater tots, our own unique blend of Korean spices, and then we will dress them and enhance them with some Kalua pork, kimchi paste, mayo, green onions, and furikake.
Wow, so you're really going to dress these up.
We're going to dress them up.
And they already taste good.
Okay, we've got the main component of the Aloha Tots there. You've got the foundation. Next, with the tongs, you're going to go into the Kalua pork, which is Hawaiian-style braised pulled pork.
Ooh, that smells good.
Salty, a little smoky, a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Hawaiians are generous. There you go. Perfect. Oh, passing already. So go ahead and put that back in there. Our first sauce is the kimchi paste, and that's a sauce that we make here. It's with kimchi, spices, some sauce in there, a secret sauce. So go ahead.
How much do you think? How much should I put on here?
Be liberal. Be real. Just go ahead. Your favorite design. Keep going back and forth, back and forth. Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Next up, the Japanese mayo there. Same kind of application.
Just Japanese mayo?
Yep. Back and forth. Perfect. It's actually a recipe that was created as a family meal by one of our staff members at our West Seattle location on Altai. It was such a popular hit with our staff that we decided to put it on the menu, and it's been here for about 4 years now. So let's go back down and get some green onions there. Go ahead and sprinkle those all over. Some good color there. Perfect. We're hiring, you know.
Oh,
all right.
I might need a job.
We're going to top the egg right in the middle there.
Look at that egg. It's like perfect. It's like an eyeball.
It is.
Do you see what I see?
What I see?
Yeah. I see some beautiful Aloha
The Cyclops.
We're almost finished. After a few sprinkles of Japanese seaweed, we were ready to munch.
Look how colorful that is. I don't even want to eat it. It's so beautiful.
It's lunchtime.
Ready to go?
I'm ready to dig in.
So we got aloha. What does aloha mean in Hawaiian?
It means it's a hello, it's a sign of love, it can mean goodbye, all encompassing.
All right, let's dig in.
Let's dig in.
Aloha.
Let's get some of the,
Here's hello right here, and this is goodbye.
and aloha means goodbye.
Oh, man.
It's bringing for me a little bit of Hawaii to Seattle on a great day via our Kalua port. In Hawaii, we have a term for families called ohana. So this is a ohana meal that we've called aloha tots. Dig into the yolk there.
Oh, man. That was money. Give me some right here.
Or in Hawaii, we do the shaka sign.
There you go.
There you go.
To relive the deep-fried majesty that was Refined's Festival of Fries, just log on to our website and let us know if you agree with our picks. Coming up on Refined, local moms get real about motherhood. Don't miss this unforgettable discussion. It's next.
Welcome back to Seattle Refined. I'm Garth Swanson. If you haven't figured out what you're getting your mom for Mother's Day yet, the clock is ticking. Sunday is, of course, the annual day we celebrate the special moms in our lives. And this year, Refined teamed up with Korbel to raising a glass to moms everywhere.
I kind of want to start the conversation just by asking, did you always know you wanted to be a mom?
I am not a baby person, and I feel bad saying that because I feel like that's not appropriate. But I knew I wanted to have a family also. I didn't know how, when that was going to happen. But what happened to my husband and I is that we lived in California and we moved back right before 9/11. And like literally 2 days after we moved back, it was 9/11. And I kind of thought, this is dumb. What are we waiting for? Life is, short, and who knows what's going to happen. There's no guarantee, so let's get going if we're going to have a family. And I was lucky I got pregnant right away, so. And then it was so much fun. I'm like, we should do it again. At least one more time.
Very cool. No, I actually never liked children. Seriously, I didn't like, other people would go, oh, let me hold your baby, and I never wanted to do that. And but I got to be my late 20s, and I just thought, I do think I want a baby, so.
That's your baby.
So I came. Harry came, and then 3 more after that. I don't really know how that happened. I know how it happened, but.
We're all still working moms, and in some cases working grandmas too. As a mother, how do you balance it? How do you balance life and raising kids and work?
I was a teacher first, and I taught taught English and French at Issaquah High School for a number of years, 10 years plus. But balance, I don't know that there's such a thing as balance, really, truly. I think what you do is you wing it and you do your very best.
The best you can.
Mm-hmm. Right.
My mom was such a hard worker, and now I don't even know how she did it, as someone that works too. Because she would work her butt off all week, commute to work, as a teacher, which is really challenging, come home on the weekends and do all that, and then somehow still she'd make like a full-on dinner every night.
I think for me as a mom, I have a lot of mom guilt about working.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I deal with that quite a bit, but I've got my mom and my dad who pick my son up from school every day, and then I go over their house and pick my son up. So I'm a little bit lucky in the sense that I kind of have a built-in support system. He actually takes care of us because he's 7 years old and knows it all.
Yeah. Of course he does.
Yeah.
I worked the whole time, with the baby. And I remember at one point I wanted to go back and get my graduate degree and started working on it, and that was a little tough with the baby.
I am so proud of her for the mother that she is. I just feel like she is such an awesome mother, and it's really true that, I don't feel like I was ever as patient with my kids as she is with Bodhi. And when I was a mother, I was like, stop it! Because okay, let's go.
She had 4. I have 1 right now. So give yourself a little credit there.
I think that what I'm proudest of with Malia is that from the time she was a very little girl, she was always very kind and nice and good and to all people. She was a universal good person, and she still is, and
Mom,
yeah. And it's true. I mean, you always go out of your way to be nice to people, to include them, and for that, I'm very, very proud of you.
Thanks, Mom.
What do you think is the hardest part about being a mom?
And my biggest challenge with my kids was, when they were younger, it was just getting a minute alone. And I'm not too proud to say I used to lock myself in the bathroom. And I'd be like, okay, you can cry for 5 minutes. And I'd just sit there and cry and like get it all out, ugly, horrible cry. And then I'd, wash my face and come out and be like, okay, what are we gonna do?
And I would say the hardest part is that as, a young mom, all your friends start having kids and oh, this love, this amazing love. And for me, when I first had my son, it was just more kind of like, okay, this is a new experience. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. What did I do before you came? My life had no existence. It wasn't like that for me. But as obviously I got to know him more and he grew, it became this, anytime he was away from me, it's like you were forgetting something, it was like missing a limb. It's not necessarily a good feeling. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it was not something I was expecting.
And I sort of didn't necessarily know that I wanted a kid at the beginning, but the fact that once he was here, it was my choice and something that I really, really wanted, it was completely transformative for me. I mean, I just could cry. I just sort of my whole existence is about him.
I have 4 grown children now, and you always worry about them, but you don't want them to go through that pain. No matter what age they are, you're only as happy as your saddest child. It's so true.
My happiest moment was my saddest moment and my most difficult time, in that when Malia was born, this cute little bundle, 6 pounds straight up, 20 inches long, and her eyes were just huge, big brown eyes, half the size of her face, I used to think. I had no mom and no dad. My mom had died, and I'm not gonna cry. My mom had died when I was 18, and my dad died 5 years later. I had this beautiful little bundle to present to somebody, and you know how precious that moment was when you were able to present your mom with that child. And there was no mom, and there was no dad. So I guess I just had to buck up, and move on. I've always had a sad feeling that I didn't have my mom there to watch this beautiful girl grow up, and my beautiful son as well.
So Corbell's slogan is Toast Life, and again, we have to thank them for hooking us up with this fabulous brunch. In toasting life, obviously we're toasting our mothers and our daughters, and I can start just by saying I love you so much, and it's been so fun to have a son and to see the way you interact with him, and to know now what you went through at you left a marriage at my age with a kid, and I can't even imagine how hard that was, and I just really appreciate everything you've done for me and my siblings, and now for my son, and I love you very much.
Mom, I want to toast you because you taught me that you can be tough, which you are, and you can be tender and have a big heart. And you're the most generous person I've ever met.
I would like to toast all the moms that are here and all the moms that we know and have loved in the past. If I may, a special toast to my own.
I apologize for the argument we had on the way down here. But I do really think that although I'm your only child, you always, always, always made me feel like your only child. And you have loved me, and you have done everything you can for me all of my life, and I know that.
I love you very much. I don't know what I'd do without you in my life. And I forgive you for the argument we had all the way down.
Well, happy Mother's Day, ladies. And of course, we're all drinking responsibly, so let's all have another drink.
Cheers. Happy Mother's Day.
To learn more about Corbell or Refine's Mother's Day brunch, log on to SeattleRefined.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Refined. Now, before we go, we have one more great suggestion for Mother's Day.
This weekend is the Pike Place Market's annual Flower Festival. Head on down and you can peruse more than 40 types of flowers, as well as everything else the market has to offer. It should be great weather, too. And be sure to pick up a bouquet for Mom while you're down there.
All right, that's it for today's show. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gard Swanson. We'll see you next time right back here on Seattle Refined.